The third step is oxidation of iodide. It is a very important essential step in which the iodide ions are converted to form an oxidized form of iodine. Iodine is important because it is capable of combining directly with amino acid tyrosine of the thyroglobulin to form thyroid hormones. This oxidation of iodine is promoted by the enzyme peroxidase and accompanied by hydrogen peroxide. This provides a potent system capable of oxidizing iodides. Peroxidase enzyme is either located in the apical membrane of the cell or it is attached to it or this attached to the surface. When peroxidase system is blocked or when it is hereditarily absent from the cells, the rate of formation of thyroid hormones falls to almost zero. This peroxidase system is also inhibited by a drug which is known as propylthiouracil, and it is used therapeutically to reduce thyroid hormone synthesis for the treatment of hyperthyroidism. Now this is the third step. The iodide ions which are trapped into the cells, they are converted into iodine. It's the nascent iodine which directly combines with thyroglobulin. The next step for the formation of thyroid hormone is the organification of thyroglobulin, or we can say iodination of tyrosine. Actually, it is the organification of thyroglobulin. Tyrosine is a part of thyroglobulin molecule, so we can say it iodination of tyrosine. The binding of iodine with thyroglobulin molecule is known as organification of thyroglobulin. Oxidized iodine, even in the molecular form, can bind directly with but slowly with the amino acid tyrosine. In thyroid cells, the oxidized iodine is associated with thyroid peroxidase enzyme, which causes the process to occur within seconds or minutes. Enzyme is not only important for the conversion of iodide into iodine, but it is important for all the preceding steps, the coming steps. So it also catalyzes or increases, or it also fastens the organification of thyroglobulin molecules. After the organification or iodination of tyrosine, this tyrosine directly combines with iodine, and it results in the formation of two substances, that is MIT and DIT, monoiodotyrosine and diiodotyrosine. The equation is given iodine plus thyroglobulin, and it results in the formation of MIT and DIT. The high levels of iodide ions inhibit the organification and therefore inhibit synthesis of thyroid hormones. This is known as Wolff-Chaikoff effect. This is the next step. This is the next step in which iodine combines with thyroglobulin. Peroxidase is the enzyme and it leads to the formation of MIT and DIT. Then during the next few minutes, hours, or even days, more and more of the iodotyrosine's residues become coupled with one another. The major product of the coupling reaction is the T4 thyroxine, which is known as thyroxine. Two MIT molecules combine to form DIT. One MIT and one DIT unite to form T3 triiodotyrosine, and two DIT molecules combine to form T4. Now, if we look at this diagram, to summarize all the reactions which are occurring in the synthesis of thyroid hormone. Number one is the synthesis of thyroglobulin by the thyroid epithelial cells, and there is release of this thyroglobulin into the colloid. Second step, number two step, is the trapping of iodide ions into the cell. This one, trapping of iodide ions into the cells by sodium iodide cotransporter. These iodide ions are then secreted into the colloid. The third step, this one is the third step. The third step is that the iodide ions are converted into nascent iodine by the enzyme peroxidase. Next is the organification of thyroglobulin or iodination of tyrosine residues. This is also catalyzed by the enzyme peroxidase. This results in the formation of monoiodotyrosine and diiodotyrosine. Then is the coupling reaction in which the mono and diiodotyrosine molecules couple to one another, resulting in the formation of T4 and T3. The thyroid metabolic hormones are stored in the follicles in sufficient amount. This store can supply the body with normal requirement of thyroid hormones for 2 to 3 months. The hormones are stored along with thyroglobulin in the colloids, and each thyroglobulin contains not more than 5 to 6 T4 molecules. When the synthesis of thyroid hormone ceases, the physiologic effects of deficiency are not observed for several months. The release of or secretion of the thyroid hormones. Most of the thyroglobulin is not released into the circulating blood. Instead, the thyroxine and T3 and T4 are cleaved from the thyroglobulin molecule, and then they are released as free hormones into the blood. This process occurs like this when the body needs thyroid hormones. The apical surface of the thyroid cell send out pseudopod extensions to form pinocytic vesicles, and colloid enters into the thyroid cells by the process of pinocytosis. The lysosomes fuse with these pinocytic vesicles, and enzyme proteases digest the thyroglobulin molecules and release thyroxine and triiodothyronine, which diffuse through the base of thyroid cells into the surrounding capillaries, resulting in the release of hormones into the blood. This is the step of the release. Whenever the thyroid hormones are needed, the cells extend the pseudopods into the around the thyroglobulin. The thyroglobulin is taken up by the pinocytic vesicles. It is taken up by this vesicle is taken up by the cell, and inside the cell, the lysosomes unite with the cells, and the proteases digest the thyroglobulin. They release MIT3 and T4 from the thyroglobulin, and they are secreted into the cell into the blood by the process of exocytosis. About three-quarters of the iodinated tyrosine in thyroglobulin never becomes thyroid hormones, but they remain as MIT and DIT. These iodinated tyrosines, MIT and DIT, they are freed from the thyroglobulin molecules, but they are not secreted into the blood. Their iodine is cleaved from them by deiodinase enzyme for their recycling that make almost all these iodines available again for the recycling within the gland for forming additional thyroid hormones. Now, this deiodinase enzyme is very important for the recycling of iodine. If there is congenital absence of this enzyme, the person may become iodine deficient and he is unable to synthesize thyroid hormones. This is another diagram showing all these steps. Now, the enzymes used for all these processes are the peroxidase enzyme, iodinase enzyme, proteinases, and deiodinase. These are the enzymes used in all these steps for the biosynthesis of thyroid hormone. Approximately 90% of the hormone released from the thyroid gland initially is T4. Majority of this T4, which is secreted from thyroid gland, is subsequently converted to T3. As T3 is 4 times more potent in its biological form than T4, and it is the major hormone that interacts with the target cells. So the hormone which is secreted more is the T4, but the hormone which is more biologically active is T3. So most of the T4 is converted to T3 in plasma or in the tissues. Approximately 85% of circulating T3 is produced by deiodination of thyroxine in the tissue such as liver, muscles, and kidney. Selenium and zinc are required for this process.